Hi, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Therapy, etc. I have my sister here today. I thought it was going to be a pretty interesting conversation to talk with her, kind of like share a little bit about our experiences, similar and different. So let's just get the conversation started. Let me get her in here. Well, hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing good. A little nervous. How
I
are
know.
you today?
Thank you for asking. Not everybody asks. I I am feeling a little bit nervous too, and I think it's because we're not really sure where this conversation is going to go.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm just like whatever comes up, it's going to be real and raw. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
So this is my sister. Her name is Stephanie, but we call her Piki. Do you know where that name came from?
You know what? I don't know if it's like for sure, but I know Alex has told me like, when you were little, we used to call you Piquito de Oro because you had like this yellow pajama, right? That I looked like a little chick, right? And that's what he's told me. I don't know if that's really true. So I really don't know 100% where Piki comes from. And it's not
Okay,
picky, like somebody who's picky. It's Piki,
yeah, like
So
in
weird.
español.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Piki. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so probably about 2 weeks ago, we were going to a Dodger game with some friends, and but before that, we were in a parking lot because we were going to pick up a dress for my new goddaughter's baptism that's happening this Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And there was this song that was playing that was Piquito de Oro.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is why we named my sister Piki after this song. And so I
Uh-huh.
was like trying to record it, but then, it didn't happen. But my friends that were with me, they're like, oh my goodness, this is it. I'm like, she's named after this song. At least that's what I know.
Uh-huh.
That Piquito de Oro para caerle bien a todos, if anybody's familiar with that song.
And don't I?
So that's where that came from. At least that's what I heard. I didn't know about a little pajama, but I mean, it could be.
Who knows? Like I said, I don't know if that's true, but there have been times where Alex records the song if he's driving or hears it at a store and he'll send it to me. Like
Yeah.
Piquito de Oro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So since childhood, she's been Piki, one of the sensitive ones of the group.
Oh, yes.
Don't start crying.
Ay, no me hagas llorar.
So we have this thing where like I will literally tell my sister, don't start crying. I'm not gonna do it right now because
Thank
literally
you.
if I say that, she'll probably start crying. Which you can
Yes.
cry here if you want. This is a safe space.
And I just might just heads up, you know me. Yes, I definitely am one of the most sensitive ones out of the six of us. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Supuestamente aren't Gemini supposed to be like a hard ass and the twins and that did not apply to me. So
I don't really know much about Geminis. I mean, I only know about mine. I'm a Scorpio. People say a lot of things about us.
Yes.
What is that phase? What is that supposed to mean?
Like you said, everybody talks about Scorpios.
But I
tough one, man.
I think there's misconceptions because I feel like I can have like a little pollito heart, but I feel like I have to defend myself all the time. I have to be like don't mess with me.
You're in
kind of action.
attack mode. You're in attack
Is that
mode
how
like
it feels?
24/7.
Is that how it feels?
Yes. I think definitely when we were growing up. Oh yeah, girl.
Okay. Why?
Because like everything I did, Patty, like was wrong, like you can't do that this way and that way. And I know, like, girl,
Bien
you were
mandona.
just very mean. Yes, mean and mandona for sure. Mandona, like Girl.
I'm gonna start crying now. Okay, I will admit I wasn't probably the nicest kid, but, or maybe I should say,
Okay, I was
and,
about to say, excuse me, weren't you just posting about apology? Okay, thank you. And
and I feel like this was part of like what I felt in that moment that I had to be like. I think that um I felt like I always had to kind of defend myself. I mean, I was the only girl for 6 years. She is 6 years younger than me. So
mhm,
I was the only girl, the youngest for 6 years. And those 6 years, I feel like I have memories in and out where, like, I remember some good things, I remember a lot of bad things. But for the first 6 years, it was just me and my two older brothers. And so then
mhm,
here comes another little baby, and I'm like, who is she trying to steal my sunshine, trying to
yeah.
steal my thunder? And I think that I was probably jealous, to be honest. I think I was like, um, now my brothers like her more than they like me. Like where and then shortly at well, not shortly after, but a few years later when we had our little brother, um, he's now 11 years younger than me, and then I became the middle child.
Uh-huh.
I kind of feel like I was kind of like stuck, like trying to figure out where I fit in this family.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of this like aggression really like built from. I think it was building, and then it was like, I hate everybody.
And that you did, because I remember going into your closet trying to like wear a shirt, and oh my God, you would like blow up. Like you would. And
Anger.
you say that you felt like some type of jealousy when I was born, and I don't remember feeling that when Michael was born, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm.
But I do remember feeling a lot of jealousy when Ha came to live with us.
Okay, so sidebar, we have a sister cousin. She's like our sister, but just for context, her name is Alejandra. We call her Ha. We all can have nicknames, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. And she is our aunt's daughter. And so we brought her from Mexico to live with us. So just context.
Yeah.
Go on.
So when she came into the picture, that's when I was like, I feel like that rage that you had, that towards everybody, that was then me towards her, because everybody else was
Ah,
fine. But
uh-huh.
and even and we talk about it now and we laugh about it, where I'm like, dude, I used to hate you. And she goes, I know you
Mhm.
did. Like you were so mean to me.
So it's
So I
like
mean,
you did to her what I did to you.
but you taught me.
What I taught, oh gosh, what I
Yeah.
taught you. So where do you think I learned it from? Because it didn't come
Honestly,
out of nowhere.
yeah, and I don't know if you got it from like my mom, because I mean, my mom, I don't get enojona like for sure. Like growing up,
Girl,
she was enojona, and
I think she's still in Ohana right now. I mean, not to the level because we're older now. She can't be the same kind.
yeah, she's not enojona with me, because I feel like now that I'm older, like I know how to attack. Because I think when I was younger y me regañaba, like you said, I was the most sensitive one. Like maybe she felt like, okay, la estoy regañando a ella and she's getting it, like my regaños,
Mhm.
because Alex and Gerard, Gerardo lo regaña uno and he's like, whatever.
Whatever.
In through one ear, out the other. Alex is
Uh-huh.
like more tough, like, whatever, you're not gonna talk to me that way. You are kind of the same. You are the same. But me, I'm like, okay, okay, I'll go do this. I'll go do that for you, So I felt like for a while I was always getting regañada, but then and Michael wasn't at all. And maybe because he was the baby, like
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and I
even
talk about
now.
that all the time. Yeah. And
Even
I bring that
now,
up
he's
all the time. I'm like, Ama, it's because no lo regañaste, you know? But I
Mm.
mean, now that I know how to attack and not necessarily attack, like
I was
physically
gonna
attack.
say, yeah, when you're like attacking.
No, 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 no. Pero, there's been times where my mom has done something and I do not like it now as an adult and I don't speak to her. And I feel like it must hurt, her, because then, like, if I'm mad at her, if we're mad at each other, then my children are at home with me, So that's why I say, like, now conmigo, like, we don't ever argue. We don't ever in the past, I don't know, maybe like 5 years, we haven't had like an argument to where like we've stopped talking,
Mhm, mhm.
So, pero I mean, that's my mom.
Yeah, well, and so going back to what we were saying, like, where did we learn this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, we weren't born this way, right? Like now, like as I've learned more about myself and learned more about like how people function,
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't born angry, I don't think. Maybe I was born sad or in pain or in trauma in some way, but I don't think I was born, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute of my crazy conclusions.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I don't think that I was born angry. I think that that was a learned behavior. And I think that, as I was growing up, to be very honest with you, like even before you were born, like, and they're probably going to hear this, and I love you now, but my older brothers, I have two older brothers, they were really mean to me. They were bullies. They would bully me
Mm-hmm.
so much. I remember like running, like my brothers would kick my booty. And as like a 6, 7 year old, you were still like a baby. And I remember like running to my mom's work and just sitting there coloring while she was working until she got off of work to take me home because
Oh my
I didn't want to be home with them. Yeah.
God.
And
Dude, quiero
so
llorar por ti right now. I feel like crying for
my
you.
little well, as I'm remembering this, I'm like I'm feeling it in my chest too. Like they were not nice to me. I did not like them. I think it wasn't until I was an adult, like I left the home that I was like, okay, now we can have a relationship because both of them would bully me a lot. Alex, which now I'm like super close with, like it's so crazy. Like I married him and his wife, like I was their officiant. Um, I was like, I don't want anything to do with any of you. Like, again, I hate you all. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think like I was growing up like in this space where I was on constant defense mode because I had to protect myself. I think
Mm-hmm.
at the time I didn't know what that meant. Obviously, I didn't have the words to put it together. Um, but there's so many moments that I can think of where like they were bullies. And so I was a bully to you and you were a bully to Ha. And Ha,
Big
I don't know
time.
who she's a bully to. I don't know. We can
Um,
save that for
I
another day.
yeah, but it definitely did go down.
Yeah. And so, it's not our brother's fault because they learned that too. And they
Mhm.
learned that from our father, like my father. Um, they learned that from my mom, like not knowing how to use her words, but instead her living in fear, but then also anger and physical violence and emotional
Mhm.
violence that was
Mhm.
constantly present even before like you even remember, or even before you were even born.
Yeah.
And so I think and I'm not excusing my behaviors because like I'm glad that we are in a different place now.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I mean, I'm sorry. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Quedas perdonada. You're forgiven. No, but yeah, like I do, like with us being younger when we were younger. I mean, same how you say that you wanted nothing to do with my brothers. I hated you. Like, not hated, but like I really didn't like you. I when it was time for me to go to my dad's house on the weekend, I was like, peace the F out, because
So context, me and Piki have different fathers, so that's why she mentions that. Go ahead.
So when it was time for me to go to my dad's house on the weekends, I was so happy. I was so happy because I was away from you mostly, like, and the bulliness that you would, do towards me. And so I understand now that you say, like, when you were younger and you wanted nothing to do with, all of us. And but now as adults, you're like super, and you're right, you're super close to Alex, and it's crazy that you married them. When me over here, I'm remembering what would happen back in the day, like at the apartment, and I'm like, oh my God, is this happening?
I
So it's
know.
great. Like, I'm so happy, and it's great that we've all grown up to like be so close,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, like I see us and I'm like, that's how I want my kids to be, like
Mhm.
the adult part, not the young part.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. And I think it's up to us to be able to do things differently, and so that it's
Hmm.
not the same as how it was when we were kids. Um, but I want you to share more about like how it was when you used to like get my clothes and like all my stuff, because I would not be very happy with you about that.
Okay, so you had a closet, and you had a closet filled with clothes, right? And this was around, I think this was when we lived at the Walnut apartment, where we were
The
all crammed. It
house
was a two, no, that's the Ethel house. That's the house when I think that's the house that you left from to
to
college.
college.
But
No, but
so
in on
during,
in Walnut it was a house too. Remember, it was 2 bedrooms and there was a bathroom and then another bedroom. It was an apartment, it was a
wasn't
house.
wasn't that the house by Dianza? The
I mean down the street, but you're talking about the Ethel house is a pink house. We lived in like a brown house.
Yeah, wasn't that house by my elementary school? Right there by the freeway, by the 10 freeway?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's not Walnut. That's the and I always think of the name,
Oh,
and I
Mangum.
yeah, Mangum. Uh-huh.
Mangum.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we lived there first, and I don't remember a whole lot from that house. The the only memories that I do remember is me. We lived next to my little best friend, and I remember her name was Ruby. And I think her older sister and you were also friends, but I'm not too sure. I don't know, no me acuerdo muy bien. And I do remember that they would take me like grocery shopping and like to the restaurants and stuff, but I don't remember a whole lot with like us in that house. Um, I do remember a party. Did you have a birthday party there, like a 13th birthday party,
Yeah, I
where
did.
you guys were playing
The
the
Ouija
Ouija board?
board. Oh my God, I
And my
forgot
mom,
about that.
I remember that. I remember there was like a bunch of people. I don't know if there was like a DJ even, but there was like music and lights. And I remember you guys got caught playing the Ouija board. And I remember my mom being really mad. And so bits and pieces of that night. But other than that, I don't remember like a whole lot. I do remember a lot from Walnut, um, the apartment on Walnut Street. And it was a 2 bedroom apartment, and it was like all four of us, because it was like me, you, Michael. Well, Michael kind of slept with my mom as well, right, and his dad.
Mhm.
And like when Hot came from Mexico, so we were there, like the three of us in this like litera with the trundle bed at the bottom, right? I
Yes,
think I remember
yes. It
something
was
like
like
that. So
bunk
you,
beds. Yeah.
uh-huh. So
And my brother
you
slept in
had,
the living room. We're all crammed into this little
oh,
apartment.
yes. And you had a closet filled with clothes, like filled with clothes, because I think you might have been working, maybe like a Jack in the Box, or I don't remember. But anyway, I really liked your clothes. And I remember like this shirt, like this
That
white and
hasn't
red shirt.
changed.
It really hasn't. um, so I remember this one particular shirt that I really liked, and I think it was like a white shirt with like a little red design, and I
Mhm.
really wanted to wear it for Valentine's Day because it was white and red, and I hid it. Te lo escondí because I was like, I can't take it on the day of because she's gonna know. Like, I have to hide it for a couple days so that, like, hey, I don't know, like maybe it's been missing for days or whatever. And sure enough, like I even took it like to my dad's house for the weekend, because I wanted to take it with me. And
You were hiding it.
yes, and I remember, oh my God, and this is gonna want to make me cry, pero I remember, I don't know if you remember, pero I had a boxed like Barbie set con la Barbie inside with like the little like kitchen, like a little table with the tea sets, and I didn't want to open it because I wanted to keep it like those toys that you keep on the wall like forever, right? Without
You
opening
had
it.
it like on top of your litera, no? Did you have it there, like on top of your bed?
I
I feel
think
like I
so,
remember something
maybe.
like that.
I don't, I think I did, yeah. So when you caught me grabbing your clothes, I remember you took my pack of Barbie and like you smashed it in the closet and you smashed the box all up and I was crying. And I remember telling my mom, and I remember like my mom yelling at you. I don't remember si te pegó, pero like I remember her
Probably.
yelling at, yeah, probably. And but I was like, oh my God. And I remember that Barbie set, Tammy, which is Lan's daughter, my stepmom's daughter, she had given it to me like for Christmas or something. And I didn't
Mhm.
ever wanted to open it. And you completely destroyed the box. And I was so sad, Patty. Like, oh my God. And that's because I took your clothes. That's when you caught me taking your clothes. And I remember I would wear your clothes like out of the house. And when I would come back home, like I'd run inside, change, hang it back up, and change into my clothes, my little girl clothes. So stressful.
Wow. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so sorry. You know what? I'm trying to remember that, and I honestly don't remember. Like, qué
I do.
conveniente, huh? How convenient I don't remember that.
Yes. Oh, that
Honestly,
collective.
I'm trying to think of that, but yeah, I'm trying to think of that moment, and I don't remember it. I know those things would happen, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
for people, for the person that's like that's going through it, like you're like it was so stressful and this happened, of course you're gonna remember. Like
Uh-huh.
I put my trauma onto you.
Yep. You sure did. But yeah, that's how things were. Like, you would catch me taking your clothes, and it was the clothes. Like the clothes was the main thing because I don't think I really ever. I mean, I couldn't wear your shoes because we were completely different sizes. We are such complete like opposites.
Mhm.
You were always like short and like small foot, and I'm like tall with a big foot. So I'm like, I can't even wear her shoes. Sus pantalones fit me too short. The shirts. I'm like, the shirts I can do. You know what's another thing that
Oh my God.
God,
What?
and
Bring it on.
I always bring this up. So I know you might not remember doing it, but I know we always talk about it. So I growing up was always insecure about my body. Like I saw you and you had like a big butt, big boobs, and I am, twiggy ass little girl, like girl, you had like I think like your dad's side, like their body image, and I had my mom's, and my mom, todas my tias are like skinny, tall, flat, front and back, and I'm like, God. So I wanted boobs. And I remember I had my training bra
Oh
and I
my
walk
God, I
out.
remember
Yes.
this.
I
Oh
remember I had
gosh.
my little bra. I go to the restroom, right? And I stuff my training bra with cotton balls. And I walk out of that restroom like I'm a Hollywood star. And you look at me and you're even looking at me like, and you go and you pull, like not even like calling me, like I was passing by and you stopped me, you pulled my shirt and you start picking my cotton balls out.
Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Oh my God. I was so freaking embarrassed. Like my mom was there and I think Alex was there too. Maybe not. Um, but I bawled out crying. Like I was crying. And I was like, Jesus. So that was horrible. That was super horrible. So
I'm so ashamed.
that was probably like the worst experience ever. Like to be humiliated like that. Like, and I must have been like 10, no more than 12 years old, and I was still like super flat. I was going to Birch Elementary. So like some of my friends had already gotten their periods. They were already like formando boobs. And I was like, I want some too. And no, you killed my dream right then and there. And I was like, God. And I don't remember if my mom told you anything. I think I just went straight to the room and cried. Like, that was horrible, Patty.
I'm so ashamed of myself for doing that.
Yeah, that
Honestly.
was
Like that's not anything. I'm gonna start crying because that's not anything that anybody should go through, and I can't believe that I did that to you. You know, like I'm so right now I feel so ashamed of myself that I think I was just so full of like anger and
Mhm.
pain that I just wanted everybody to feel it. And you know, I say this a lot, that we hurt the people that we love the most. And
Yeah.
you know, like it sucks to know that I did that.
Yeah. Ugh, ugh.
I
Yep.
know. Let me get some tissue because I'm over here like let me get my life.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was how we were growing up. That from my perspective though, because you know what, like you say, um like how everybody says, each person has their own side, right? So that's how I viewed things towards you. Like, oh my gosh, she's such a bully, but what did I do to you? Because who knows, like I might have annoyed the crap out of you. And you know, and like taking your clothes, I knew that was wrong. That's why I was doing it behind your back. And maybe I mean, I know I shouldn't have, but that was just me wanting to be like you know, like I wanted to be like my big sister.
but also like, you know, taking clothes and like pulling tissue out of your skirt are not, they're not on the same playing field.
Yeah.
Like they're completely different. And I mean, again, like I think like I don't have an excuse. I think that I
Mhm.
was dumb and stupid, and I didn't know how to I didn't know how to express what I was feeling with words. And so everybody felt it. And
Mhm.
it makes me ashamed, you know, just to know that some of the things that I would do, because I think that a lot of people in our family, like, I think like, you know, our siblings, our brothers and sisters, like, you know, I think they've been able to know more about me now as an adult. But our
Mhm.
extended family, I think that they still view me in a certain way, because I wasn't just like this with you guys. I was like this with everybody.
Mhm.
Like, I was sent to Mexico because I was misbehaving. You know, I was sent for extended vacations because you couldn't stand me. I couldn't stand myself.
Yes.
So I was sent to Mexico for long periods of time to get me right. And so
Mhm.
I was like, well, I'm going to be bad here too. I'm going to do whatever I want in Mexico.
Uh-huh. I do remember that. I didn't remember that, but yeah.
Hmm.
Excuse me. You did get sent over there. I mean, I went for the summers, but like as a vacation, but no, you went for like Mexico camp, boot camp.
They can't control me. I was a wild
Oh,
child. But
yeah,
here's the thing, like I remember going over there to my tia's house, and like they're trying to make me like little Cinderella, and I'm like, deuces, I'm gonna go with my cousin.
uh-huh.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go live our little, you know, 14-year-old lives. Or I think I was younger actually. I was probably like, how old was I? I think it happened a couple of times actually, now that I think about it, when I was like a preteen and a teenager,
Mhm.
that I was sent to Mexico for long periods of time, like whole summers, like maybe even a little bit into the school year.
Mhm.
Um, because I couldn't stand myself, my family couldn't stand me. But then also, like, think about that, like, I'm being sent away, like, that sucks. Imagine like sending away Jacob, because Jacob's our nephew, my nephew, her son. Imagine sending away Jacob because he's bad.
I know. I mean, that's horrible. Just to think, you know, yeah, that's horrible just to even imagine.
Right. And so
Mm.
that made me kind of feel like nobody wants me, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And so that
Mhm.
just created this perpetual cycle of just misbehaving and misbehaving. And honestly, I think like everybody in the family is probably surprised like where I am today. Because I was like running away.
You would run away. You
I
would
would
run
guys.
away, Patty. Like you were
I
that
don't want to be
child.
here. Yeah. Like that kid that like, oh, she's gonna get pregnant and
End up
drop
in a
out of
gang.
school, end up in a
Yeah.
gang, like be like a crazy chola. Like I think everybody thought that was gonna be me.
Yeah. Everybody.
And
I
I'm
was
saying like even
little and I knew you were on the wrong path.
yeah, yeah. But you know what though? I've always said that education saved me
Mhm.
because even though I was misbehaving like crazy and I had all of these like stressors. I mean, I don't think I knew that they were stressors at home, but honestly, like my brothers were always really mean to me. And so
Mhm.
they were mean to me. So then I was just like naturally like taking it out on you.
Mhm.
And my mom, I was always against my mom. I was always like,
Mhm.
don't get near me either.
Yeah.
Um, uh I think like because this was always happening, like this always created this cycle that I was always misbehaving. But in school, I always did well.
Yeah.
I was always a good student. I think what it is, now that I'm saying it out loud, I think that school was the only thing I felt that I could control.
Mhm.
Everything in my life, I think it was like out of control. Like and so I could rely on my friends, which are still my friends today. Like some of
Mhm.
my excuse me, my middle school and my high school friends are still my friends today. I can rely on my friends, and then I can rely on that I can do well in school, on myself, that I can do well in school.
Mhm.
And I really think that education is what like saved me, even though I was like a bad kid.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one thing that you never got were bad grades. You always, always did good in school. So, I mean, you were a wild child at home, but you always, came through with the good grades. So
That's
I
right,
applaud
girl.
you.
That's
What's
that's right, girl.
up?
So so Piki, I am curious to know because I really think that all of our relationships changed, and I hate to say this out loud, but I think that it all changed when I left to school. Like when I left, it's when I feel, and maybe because I wasn't there anymore, but you stayed, like you're 6 years younger than me. So when I went to Santa Barbara for college,
Mhm.
that's when I think everything changed. And I wonder, like, did it feel like a breath of fresh air at home because I wasn't there anymore?
Um, so when you left, I remember like feeling a little sad, but like definitely I did feel relieved. Um, because you were leaving. So you were leaving good, but oh man, I'm gonna miss my sister, right? Because Gerardo had left, right? He moved to Canoga Park, our older brother. Alex
Mhm,
was kind of always just working all the time and he would just come home to sleep, right?
mhm,
And this was at the pink house on Ethel. Did
mhm,
you leave from, yeah, you left to college
mhm,
from there. So it was just me, Michael, um, my mom, Alex, whenever he would sleep at night, and Michael's dad. So yeah, so when you left, it was just kind of like the three of us. So then I became like the oldest, right, between the three of them. And so, I mean, I was sad because you left, but it was definitely like a breath of fresh air. Um,
mhm.
because now I get to boss everybody around. I get to give you food that you don't like. You better eat that food, like
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, so but you would come for like the holidays and you would come with your boyfriend back then and it was always nice. I think our relationship definitely changed. Your clothes was not at my house anymore, so I could not take your clothes.
I
But
don't
it
know.
was more like
I'm wondering, did you sneak one out on me? I didn't notice.
yeah, so I mean, I think things did get better um between us. So I think school, you leaving for college did help. Like that distance between us did help. And it's not like I can call you up like, hey, what are you doing? Because I didn't have a cell phone. It was just like when you would call the house phone or whatever, right? Because I didn't have a cell phone until I was in I don't even remember. I don't remember too well when I had a cell phone.
I don't remember
But I
either.
remember having a house phone. Yeah. I remember having a house phone because whenever it rang and I would pick up and your friends would be calling, your friends thought I was you. And I would go
Yep.
along sometimes with the conversation until I couldn't anymore. I'd be like, wait, hold on, Patty's coming. So, but yeah, I think school and the distance between us did help us, definitely.
I think also like I think it helped the relationship between me and everybody, not
Mm-hmm.
just with you, because like when I left to college, I don't particularly remember being like happy with my brothers. I think the only one we kind of like loved was Michael, our youngest brother, because he was like our
Mm-hmm.
little baby. Like I remember
Yeah.
like changing his diapers and like hanging out with him, carrying him like he was my child.
Uh-huh.
So with him, it just felt so different. Even though I will admit that I was so upset at my mom when I found out she was pregnant of him. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No.
I was so angry at her. I didn't talk to her for probably like probably at least like a month or two. Yeah. I was so upset at her because I was like, here's another kid and like what about me? I'm over here
Wow.
like losing it over here and
Uh-huh.
there's no, and I'll spare you the details, but like I'm over here like, hello, hi, um, I need some help, love, support, affection, and there's now
Uh-huh.
another baby here, and it's like kind of getting lost in the shuffle. I mean, but at this point, it's 5 kids now,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2 older ones I don't have a relationship with. With you, I didn't really have a relationship with, and so when I found out that she was pregnant, I was so mad at her. I remember that she hid it from me too. She didn't tell me
I
until,
don't remember. I don't remember when my mom was pregnant or even after. Like my earliest
yeah.
memories with Michael, I remember like being super excited with a baby. I was happy. I was happy
Yeah.
to have a little brother.
Yeah, and I became happy, but at first, so we had just moved to Mexico. So we lived in Mexico for a few years and we
Mm-hmm.
had just moved there, and then that's when I found out that she was pregnant and I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I was so mad at her. And I think it was probably like at least for like a month or something, or maybe more. I don't remember. I was like, I'm mad at you. Like, I don't want another baby.
Yeah.
Michael, if you're listening, I clearly love you so, so much. But it all
Now.
changed. And now, right? No, no, but it changed because when she actually had him, he was like my little baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we did all the baby things with him.
Yeah. I do remember him as a baby. I don't remember like her pregnancy. I do remember living over there. Um, but I remember always wanting him, like I was always very happy with it. And maybe because it wasn't like me and Ha where we were just a year apart, where I felt like I had to compete, but he was a baby. Like I was so happy. I was
Mhm,
even giving him all of my affection.
mhm, mhm.
So yeah, that's so crazy. I didn't know you didn't want him.
I didn't want him, but it wasn't, and like I said, it wasn't throughout the whole pregnancy. It was like at the beginning. I think I felt betrayed, like that she was lying to me.
Uh-huh.
Um, and there was just so many emotions. Like she took us out of our comfort zone and placed us in to live in a completely different environment where like
Yeah.
now I was like this new kid where I'm like, I was perfectly fine with my elementary friends, and now I have to like speak a language. Yes, I'm fluent, but like learn in Spanish and wear a uniform. And now everybody's like, es del otro lado. And it was just like weird and
Oh,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
And then on top of that, like, here's another baby. It wasn't the most pleasant initially.
Mm-hmm.
As time passed by, I learned to accept it. And then, obviously when he was born, I was so happy that
Mm-hmm.
we had a new little baby. But initially it wasn't like that.
That's crazy. Oh my God, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that I hated that time in Mexico. I remember hating it. Like I remember not liking it. I think I
Mhm.
started school over there. I had never gone to school and I started kindergarten over there.
Yeah, you
So here
did.
I am. Yeah. Yeah, here I am in a classroom with, like you said, uniform with kids who speak Spanish, which I spoke Spanish too, right? With a very mean teacher, like would hit kids. And thank God, I don't think I was ever a bad kid like that. So, um, and then having to do like these dances outside, for like festivals, remember? Like
Yes. They
I
make us
feel
do a
like
danza for everything.
yes, and I feel like I've always been a shy person. So I remember just hating living over there. Like I remember when we used to shower together because there wasn't enough water for like a shower of our own, and like the chorrito, the little bit of water coming out, and we'd start praying. I don't know if you remember. I'd be like, "Oh my God, please just give us a little bit more water," and a little bit of more water would come out, and we'd try to rinse off so fast. Like I remember not liking it. Like there's so many things that I did not like. I don't I did not like it over there.
Yeah. Like I think I didn't hate it as much as it sounds like you didn't like it. Um and again, I think it was because I have memories with friends that are still my friends today, which is again
Hmm.
so weird. But I have two friends that I'm still friends with today that live out there that I met when I was going to school. But nonetheless, it was tough because, we're again like pulled out of our environment, like plopped into this place. And then when the time's up, it's like we're taken out and put back into US society. And that's
Yes.
like super traumatizing and like hard. Our brothers hated it too. Cause I remember them going to like trying to finish high school out there. It was like a mess. It
Yeah.
was it was not good for any of us. But at the
Like
moment, I guess it made sense.
I think I recently told you, didn't I? That when I started school here in the US back at Dianza Elementary, I was embarrassed to speak English. I did not speak English. I was put in a bilingual class, and I remember like my teacher and I remember the classroom, and we would have like half of it in Spanish and then the second half of the day in English. And I did not speak.
Mhm.
I did not talk. I was embarrassed to talk. I felt like I was going to have like this accent, or like I wasn't going to say words right. But for a long time, I didn't talk. I think it was until second grade where I started speaking more English.
Mhm.
But I hated that bilingual class because I did not want to speak English. I didn't know how.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't know how.
Yeah.
So moving from elementary from Mexico, going to kindergarten over there and then going to first grade over here with like everybody is in first grade. Everybody knows English. Like what the heck?
Yeah. Like, how do you fit in?
Yeah, exactly. I did not fit in. I was the one that came from Mexico. I was
Yeah.
American. I was born here, but she's the one from Mexico. Like, okay.
Yeah. 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 Piki, did you know that for like the first like, I don't know, like 9 months or something, you didn't speak a word when you were a baby? So
Okay.
my mom, she used to put this like she had all these remedios, right? But she used to put this like key under your pillow, like that,
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
supposed to like make you like like speak or something.
She has told me that she used to put a key because maybe it was like the key to the box of my voice or something. I don't know.
It's like
I do
aerial
remember.
status.
Yes, and I do remember even her telling me that they like my parents took me to the doctor because they thought that I was muda. And
You were mute.
yes, mute. And I did not, I mean, I just didn't want to talk. And maybe I just wasn't a big talker. And it's funny that that happened. And I bring this up all the time because whenever Joe and I, Joe, my fiance, engaged for like 7 years, um,
Uh-oh.
my marinovio, we always compare my two kids, Jacob and Hannah, how Hannah has had such a huge vocabulary since she was like less than a year old, and Jacob didn't talk till he was 3. Jacob did not. Jacob would make noises like and would point, and he did not talk at all. And I remember telling his doctor as well, like, he is not talking. Like, why isn't he talking? And he asked me too, were you the same way? And I had to be like, yeah, a little, and so he said, he told me what to do, and finally he spoke. Now this kid doesn't stop talking, but he was the same way.
And you don't, and hey, you too though, like you're like a little talker now, even though you said that you're shy. I'm like,
yeah. I am such a chatterbox that I sometimes can feel myself like when I'm at work and people come to like talk and it's like something small, but I just keep going and going and going. And I'm like, okay, Stephanie, calm down, relax. Yes, chill. So yeah, that's so funny. That is too funny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So Piki, with all of this that has happened, all of these like lived memories and experiences that we've had together, how do you view our relationship now? I feel like this is the first time we have like this kind of like heart to heart like this, to be honest.
I think so too, because I feel that even like when we were adults, I felt like we still fought a lot. Like there were times where we wouldn't agree on something and you would hurt my feelings and I just wouldn't talk to you. And I can't come up with an example of what or when, but I feel like as adults, yeah, we still had that, like, I would get butthurt and I wouldn't talk to you. Like we would stop talking until like months later, or maybe weeks. I don't know. Maybe it felt like months. We would just out of nowhere, out of the blue, just start talking again. But now, and it's funny because I feel that I've learned to have a Scorpio sister to where if you not necessarily hurt my feelings, because I don't think you've hurt my feelings in a very long time, but I feel like maybe when there's something that we don't agree with, I just kind of don't make a big deal about it and just tell myself, okay, we each have our own like beliefs, our own mind of our, to ourselves and stuff. So I've learned not to make a big deal and get butthurt. So maybe that's on my part. Like I've learned to not get so butthurt so easily, especially by you, because I don't think anybody else, I've never like argued with anybody else, or, with Alex growing up, I feel like Alex and Gerardo loved me and they spoiled me. Like, I think especially Gerardo, because, as I'm sure everybody remembers, I was always Gerardo's girl. He would always be like, girl, come here. That's my girl. And I was always his girl. And so with Alex was always, I feel like Alex me defendía a lot against you.
Me.
Yes. And it's funny because I remember one time I shaved my legs. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh gosh, no. Let me try to remember. Tell me.
Yes. So we were at the Walnut apartment and I shaved my legs. It was my very first time shaving my legs. And not that I had hairy legs, because as you know, like I'm not a very hairy person, but because I knew my friends were shaving their legs, I wanted to try it too. The only person in the house who shaved her legs with the Skintimate shaving cream was you. And I remember I put some on and I shaved my legs and I left that restroom. And I remember you went in and you smelled the scent of the shaving cream. And you came out and you were like, Ama, se está rasurando las piernas. Like you were kind of like telling on me that I was shaving my legs, like if it was this big old thing like that I couldn't do. And
damn, I was a tattletale.
Yes, you were.
I sucked.
And I remember like my mom looking at me, and I don't remember if she told me anything, but I remember Alex was there and he was like, so what? What's the big deal? Let her shave her legs. She's a girl, So I felt like Alex siempre me defendió. So, so back to, like you were the only one that I really had like a hard time with, like Alex Gerardo, we never argued about anything. As adults, we never argued. We became very close. Michael was a baby. There's no need for an argument there. But so with you, I've learned to like, if something like you say and that I don't agree with, I just kind of like, okay, that's just her way of thinking, you know, it's fine to, it's okay to disagree. So yeah, like I feel like our relationship now, I feel like is great. And
Like
that's just me.
way, way better than what it ever was.
Ever, 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 ever.
I think that as for myself, I think I've been able to learn a lot about myself and about how not everything has to be a big deal. And even though,
Hmm.
like I mentioned earlier, like I think like to everybody else, like not our siblings, because I talk to you guys every day, we have the group chat
Hmm.
and stuff. Um, but I think like to the outside world, it's always viewed as like I'm the enojona, I'm like the bitch, I am the,
Hmm.
just like not the best person. And that was me before. It was. I was not
Hmm.
nice. And again, I think that was just because that was my way of defending myself, of my method of survival because of the things that were happening around me that I had no control over.
Hmm.
Um, but now I think that I've learned a lot about myself, like through therapy, my own like inner work, like really like paying attention to the things that are happening inside of my body and asking
Hmm.
myself, like, why is this bothering me so much? Like, what is the unmet need? So, and is it as serious as it feels? And
Yeah.
usually it's not.
Yeah.
Not.
Uh-huh. Yes, I agree because like I said, I can't exactly remember like an example when we would argue, but now I think back and I'm like, I'm sure it wasn't that big a deal. Like
No.
if jeans look better, blue or navy blue, whatever, but I'm like, yeah, I feel like you and I have grown like a whole lot. And me especially, like everybody knows, I'm the sensitive one. um if I'm the type where like I cannot argue without crying because I get so like so upset, and I feel like I'm not letting it out correctly, and I get so upset and I want to cry because you're not understanding how mad I am, so and I've learned to like not be that way. I mean, I still do, not that I get angry a whole lot or anything, but
Mhm.
yeah, I've had to learn to control myself también, to control
Mhm.
how I think and understand other people's views on
Mhm.
different things.
Mhm. Well, I love you, sister. I always
I love you
have,
too.
and I'm sorry that life wasn't always so easy peasy with me, but I'm so happy that now as we're adult women that it is.
Uh-huh. I love you too. I love you too. It's crazy. It's so crazy to think about how where we were, how we grew up, and now how we are now. Like,
Mhm.
who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Exactly. So, a few kind of things that I want to point out is that we are 6 years apart, and a lot of people say that like we sound alike, like our
Mhm.
voice, like, and like even like our hair, like I was just commenting, like our hair looks like the same today.
I know, even like the color. I know sometimes we come out of the salon looking the same.
Like, what? Or even like some of your mannerisms. Like I know that Joe, your marinovio, like you called him, like he'll be like, "Oh my God, that's exactly how your sister is." Because like things that you say, I say.
Yes,
And it's
there's times where he's like, "Oh my God, I just saw Patty." I'm like, I know.
and that's like the weirdest part because like, we didn't have a great relationship, and then we haven't lived with each other since I was 17. So
Hmm.
how old were you? Like 11 or something?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you were 11 when I left to college, and we haven't lived together since you were 11 and I was 17. And yet we still have these similarities, which is like so crazy because
Uh,
it's not like it's like our nature.
mm-hmm. Yes. And you know what's funny? Because I thought about this, like if Patty and I were to live in the same house again, would we get along? And sometimes
Mm.
I'm like, maybe not, because I feel like we're so different. Like just the way of living, we're just different. And I mean, it's okay to be different. We don't have to be
Yeah.
the same. So
Yeah.
it's just
Maybe for
crazy
like
to
a
think
couple of
about.
days and then I'd be like, okay, I'm over it. Bye.
Yeah, bye. I gotta get the hell out of here. Yeah, I know. But it's so crazy. I mean, how we grew up and the way we grew up, like I know there's been times where I come to you and I'm like, well, this is the way to do this because this is the way it was done to me, right? And it's like, wait, maybe
Well,
it isn't. You
yeah,
know, so
yeah.
even now I'm almost 30 and I'm still learning how to grow up, how to be a mom, how to be a good human being, you know?
It's
And
a
I'm not
constant
saying,
work in progress.
yeah, and I'm not saying that our parents were like bad human beings, you know, that's the way we were raised was the, you know, what they knew, but I
Mhm,
definitely want to be a better human being, better mom, definitely,
mhm,
because my first baby was definitely raised like the first 5 years of his life was raised the way I was taught, you know, and
mhm,
looking back, I'm like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I shouldn't have said this, you know.
mhm,
But even now, I'm, you know, still growing and I'm learning something every day, and like, you know, through your like Instagram page and your
mhm.
friend, Dr. Selena. I follow
Yes,
her too. She has a lot of like
yeah.
parenting advice and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy how the way we grew up, you know, you take that with you
Mhm.
as a grown up.
I agree. Look at you, the wise one.
I pues somebody has to be.
All right, sister. Well, we're gonna stop for today. Wow, we went an hour. I didn't even feel like it.
Really? Oh my goodness. Yes.
But any last minute words, any healing words that you want to share with our listeners and people that are watching us?
Well, first and foremost, I think I want to you know, I thank you a lot because you know, you becoming a therapist and a ¿cómo se dice? You know, you doing what you do has brought like this new like education into our family because who knew like growing up seeing a therapist that wasn't something we did, that wasn't something
Mhm,
like we looked into. Talking about our feelings and how we felt was not something we did.
mhm,
So you and now as grown-ups and now with like our brothers and my mom, like I feel like we've healed. I think in my opinion we've done a lot of healing, and I think it has a lot to do with you know, you becoming a therapist and you making us be open to like our emotions. So thank you. And all what you tell me and everything that I ask you, like I try to bring it into my home because the way I was raised, that's not the type of household I want to have.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, thank you.
I appreciate that. I really do. I'm getting all emotional over here. Look at me, little teary eyed over here. No, I really appreciate you, and I'm really happy. I mean, like that's the goal of this podcast. That's the goal of my Instagram is to normalize experiences. And even though this was like a very raw and real and you know a conversation that brought up a lot of things for me. I mean, this is true life. You know, like
Hmm.
this is what happens in our homes, and it also is really beautiful to see how we've been able to grow from that and continue learning from each other because I learn from you too. I tell you that all the time, like little things that you do and the things that you say, I'm like always proud of you.
Oh,
So
thank you. I'm so
all
happy
right,
with this.
me me too. Okay, well, I want to thank you again for being here and for being vulnerable with me and having this conversation. I think it was really awesome, and I think that a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, damn, yeah, me too," or can definitely relate in one way or another. So I
Definitely.
appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you of thinking of me. Really. I feel
It
honored.
like it was like a light bulb. I was like, I need to have her on here. So I appreciate it. Well,
Awesome.
everybody, that concludes another episode of Therapy, etc. Please rate, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, feedback. I always love to hear these things. And thank you again, sister. I love you so much.
I love you too.
All right, everybody, take good care. Bye.